All right, let's talk about something that sounds super complicated but is actually really important for all of us, the stock market. I promise, we're going to break this down so it all makes sense, piece by simple piece.
So let's kick things off with a pretty big question, one that gets right to the core of why we even need to think about this stuff. Is the money you have saved up actually losing its value over time? The short answer? Yeah, probably.
So here's how we're going to tackle this. First up, why your money kind of needs a job. Then we'll look at the different options you have. After that, we'll get into the nitty-gritty. What is the stock market? What does it mean to own a piece of a company? And, super importantly, where do you fit into all of this?
Okay, so first things first, let's really dig into the main problem that investing is supposed to solve. You know, there's this invisible force at play that explains why just keeping your cash in a regular old savings account, well, it's just not cutting it anymore.
And that invisible force, it's called inflation. It's this quiet, sneaky process that's constantly making your money worth a little bit less every single day.
This graphic here really nails the concept. Think about it. The cash you have today can buy more stuff than the exact same amount of cash will buy in the future. Why? Because its purchasing power is shrinking. That 1,000 rupees in your wallet today, it's not going to stretch as far a year from now. That's inflation at work.
And that brings us to a really crucial point. People often think investing is all about getting rich quick, but that's not the whole story. It's actually a defensive strategy. It's about protecting the value of the money you've already worked hard to save. You're basically putting your money to work so it can fight back against inflation.
Okay, so we get the why now, right? We need to make our money work for us. The next logical question is, where? Where can we actually put our money?
If you zoom out, you can pretty much lump all investment options into three big buckets. First, you've got your physical assets, stuff you can actually touch, like real estate or gold. Then there are fixed return options, like bonds, where the returns are a lot more predictable. And finally, you have what we call fluctuating return assets, and this is where things can get a little more wild, with values going up and down.
And today, we're going to laser focus on one of the most powerful and well-known options in that fluctuating return category, stocks. So let's see how this whole thing works.
All right, let's get right into it. What is the stock market? What does it actually do?
Think of the stock market as a giant meeting place, or maybe a bridge. On one side, you have companies that need cash to expand, to create new products, to hire more people. On the other side, you have people like us, who have some savings that we want to grow for our future. The stock market is what brings those two sides together. This diagram here lays it out perfectly. You've got investors over here looking for a place to park their money so it can earn a return. Then you've got companies over here, and they need that money, that capital, to fuel their growth. The stock market is that critical link in the middle where it all happens.
Okay, so we get that the market connects people and companies, but what's actually changing hands? We throw around words like stocks and shares all the time, but what does it really mean to buy one? What are you actually getting?
It's actually a really simple but kind of mind-blowing idea. When you buy a stock, you are literally buying a small slice of that company. Whether it's Apple or Pepsi or any of them, you become a part owner. And that means if the company does well, you do well.
All right, so you've got millions of regular people plus these huge, massive institutions all playing in the same sandbox. So where do you fit in all of this? What's your role? Well, there's a fancy term for it, domestic retail participant. But honestly, that's just a formal way of saying a regular person, an individual investor like you and me. And as you can see, we're right there in the mix with some big players, like huge corporations and giant investment funds from other countries. But we're all in the same market.
And the main job of the whole system is just to make sure all this buying and selling happens smoothly. You know, it's not like the old days with people yelling on a trading floor. It's a huge electronic network now. Its whole purpose is to match a buyer with a seller almost instantly, no matter where they are.
Now, this is a really important point, a distinction you'll want to think about for yourself. Are you an investor? That's someone who's in it for the long haul, focusing on a company's fundamentals. Or are you more of a trader, someone who's trying to profit from short-term price swings? Look, there's no right or wrong answer here, but figuring out your own style is absolutely key.
So let's bring it all together. Why even bother with the stock market? Well, it's got the potential for high returns to beat inflation. You get to own a piece of the companies you believe in. It's easy to get in and out. That's what they call liquid. You can start with just a little bit of money. And importantly, it's all regulated to keep things as fair as possible.
And that's really the big picture. Now you've got the why, the what, and where you fit in. The next step, your own journey. really starts with this question right here. But if there's one thing to take away from all of this, it's that the stock market isn't some exclusive club for experts. It's a tool, a powerful tool that's available to all of us to help build a better financial future.